Hello and welcome to Qtr Time podcast in partnership with Lovell Netball. I'm Lucy G.
And I'm Lucy P. And we're here to bring you all the netball goodness you never knew you needed.
We are absolutely thrilled to welcome onto the podcast Leeds Rhinos' newest Simon. It's Jemma Donoghue. How are you doing, Jemma?
Good. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolute pleasure. You must be either exhausted or elated and probably running on adrenaline. How are you doing?
I think a bit of all of it, to be honest. Yeah, it's been such a crazy, it's literally like just over a week. But yeah, very exciting. I'm very excited to be here. So yeah.
Amazing. Well, before we get stuck into the news of your signing, we'd just love to get to know you a little bit better. So tell us a bit about yourself and your netball history. How did you get into netball in the first place?
So my mum is actually English. Both my parents are. So she played netball over here. She's from like Surrey area. So she was always very into her netball. And then once we moved over to Australia, she was actually the coach of my first team. So just kind of pulled together all my school friends from my primary school. And we just joined a team when we were about maybe 8. And then, yeah, I just loved it ever since and played it all the way through school and then kind of progressed through the pathway in Australia from there.
And as you mentioned, that pathway, you've represented New South Wales at under 17 and under 19, as well as being part of the Australia under 21 side. Tell us a little bit about what you're like as a defender. What type of player are you?
I would say I'm a grinder. So I really like working my goal attacks. I actually used to be a centre wing defence when I was younger. So I was really short until I was about 15. And then I suddenly had this super big like late growth spurt. So I think I was always quite a fit goal defence because I come from that like centre background. So I can like work the ground on my goal attacks and try to keep them out of the game. That's probably more my style. I do obviously go for intercepts and hunts and things like that, but I feel like the main part of my game is just grinding that one-on-one, trying to keep them out of the game and then like forcing errors and things like that.
That's really interesting because just thinking about the Rhino setup now, I think you and Vicky Oyesola together are going to be absolute fire. I'm so excited to see this. And obviously in 2022, you made your elite netball debut for the Giants in round 1 of SSN against the Swifts and coming up against none other than Helen Halsby herself.
Yeah.
What was that experience like? Was that a bit of a baptism of fire maybe?
Oh my gosh, it was. Yeah, I'd never played Helen before. And then obviously coming against her, like this huge name, in my first game, it was literally probably the best day of my life, to be honest with you. It was so good. We were playing our New South Wales rivals, the Swifts. So it's like such a heated derby. And it was, like a packed out stadium. And then, Helen, she's so smart. She just like toys with you and she had a really good game, to be fair to her, but it was great. We won by 2. So it was like an incredible debut. And then, it just kind of gone from there.
Yeah, I remember that game well because there was that bit at the end. I think they were within 2 goals and you guys had to play that like real possession game. Honestly, you guys must have nerves of steel. I don't know how you do it.
Oh, no, it was because I have Jo Harton in goal shooter and she obviously just loves like toying with teams and making them feel stupid and things like that. So she was just like holding the ball and, using every second of the 3 seconds. And I was nervous. I thought we had it. I was confident, but it was like literally 2 minutes and we were just passing the ball around and just kind of like, my parents, I think my dad literally had a heart attack. He was like head in hands, like couldn't even watch. He was saying like in the crowd, he was like, don't pass to Jemma. I just don't want her to like make a mistake. But which is really cute. But no, it was great. It made the win even better, I think.
Yeah, no doubt. And you mentioned Jo Harton there. What's it like kind of playing in that Giants environment with such, she is literally a household name now, to someone like her in your team. What's that kind of setup like over there?
I genuinely like pinch myself every day that I get to train, especially against Jo. Like obviously she's a shooter, I'm a defender. So I've like looked up to Jo for a very long time because my mum's an England supporter, obviously. So growing up in Australia, I always watched the England games. But she is like a phenomenal leader. She is the best captain I've literally ever been under. She's so like inspiring and just like the way that she carries herself and leads by example. It's just like the culture she creates is incredible, and everyone just plays for each other. So yeah, she has made Giants something very special, and I think it'll be very different without her. Hopefully not anytime soon, but yeah, she is Giants pretty much, which is pretty special.
Wow, that's incredible, really. And she is so beloved across the world, really, both English fans, Australian fans. No matter where you are, she is one of our game's greats. So, yeah, what a special experience to be able to play with and against her. And obviously, coming back to Leeds Rhinos, this has been a whirlwind week or two for you. In the club's press release, Leota said that she'd reached out to Julie Fitzgerald last week, had a meeting on Wednesday, spoke to you on Friday, you're on a plane on Sunday, and then you were training on Tuesday. Have you managed to wrap your head around what's happened yet?
Oh, I actually don't know, to be honest with you. I was literally sitting on the plane and I was like, I can't believe this is actually happening. Like, I'm literally flying to the other side of the world within the space of like 4 or 5 days. But yeah, no, I'm so grateful for the opportunity. It was just something, we just finished our preseason over in Australia. So I kind of was just ready to like still train with the Giants, but more so drop back down. We call it Premier League, which is like the level below. So got my game time with Giants in preseason, and then I was just ready to drop down. And then this opportunity came up, and it was like perfect timing, to be honest with you. Yeah, so just spoke to Liana, Friday night. She was lovely and really excited, and then I got my flight details Saturday night, and then flew out Sunday night.
Oh
Yeah.
my goodness. Mate, if that was me, I'd be in absolute shambles. But it's really interesting because you've made this decision to come over to the UK. Obviously, the whole thing happened very quickly, but you made your decision to say yes very quickly. I find that really impressive because when I was 21, I was at uni. I was only about 2 hours away. I'd purposely picked a uni that wasn't too far from home in case I got homesick or in case my anxiety was too high. And yet you've just uprooted your life to the other side of the world at just 21 years of age. What's made you so confident about the decision to move over?
To be honest with you, like something like this is a bit out of character for me. I'm someone who
Ah.
likes to like plan my life. I love having structure. But I just think like this opportunity was something that wouldn't probably come around again. Or at least the timing of it wouldn't have happened the same. So I'm at uni as well. So I'm doing physio at Sydney Uni. But I feel like uni will be there forever, and something like this won't, especially when you're so young. And I know that Liana was telling you about the team's quite a young and like developing team, which I think is so exciting. So I think everything just fell into place, and I just thought, why not? Like, why not give it a go? I mean, it's till the end of the season, hopefully. So that's start of June. And then the Australian season doesn't finish until a little bit later. So if all things go to plan, I'll probably go back there and then just finish the season there. So I guess like it's only a couple of months, and like I'll only become a better player and a better person out of it was kind of my thinking. But yeah, I had full support from everyone at home, like my family and Julie at Giants. So yeah, I just thought, let's just do it. Why not? Be a bit spontaneous.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like you say, it could potentially be a once in a lifetime opportunity. So you may as well grab it with both hands. And have you ever thought about playing in the Netball Super League before this had happened? Had that ever been an ambition of yours?
Well, yeah, because obviously I have progressed through the Australian pathway. So that's always been kind of what I've viewed like my progression to be through netball. But I have always known that, for example, Elle McDonald, who is now at Leeds
Mm.
Rhinos as well, I know that she went over there just for a different experience and hopefully to get a little bit more game time in a different environment. So I always knew that option was there. And I also obviously knew that both my parents being English, I could always play for the England Roses. So I never really obviously thought about like diamonds, roses, that kind of thing. Like obviously I'm quite a way off that, but it was always at the back of my mind as a potential option. So yeah, I guess when the opportunity came up, I was just like, it was meant to be. So yeah, just thought about doing that.
Yeah, I mean, that's really interesting that you mentioned that because actually one of my questions is around the England Roses. And as soon as any Australian player, like or any pathway player, is announced to have English heritage, you can almost see on social media all the eyebrows go, and everyone starts like making all these assumptions and forecasting. And will they play for Roses one day? And obviously, we've seen it with Elle McDonald and Chelsea Pittman. So, is that something that you'd potentially be interested in?
Yeah, I mean, I honestly have never really like thought about getting to that level because it's such a high standard. So I think I honestly think it would just be like a whatever opportunity happens kind of situation, like whichever door opens. Like obviously growing up in Australia, the aspiration is to be a diamond. So I think that's probably always been my main like thought. But also being a rose would be like just as special. So yeah, I guess just see what happens, see where my netball journey goes and takes me. So yeah.
Well, we'll watch this space, I guess. But you've mentioned already that you've got a family over here, which will no doubt be incredibly comforting for you, and probably a really special moment as well when you do make your NSL debut, to be able to do it in front of them. And like you say, you were actually born over here in Chelsea. How important is it for you to be able to have your family close by? Has that helped with the transition at all?
Yeah, I think the thought that I had them over here, not that hopefully anything does go wrong, but if anything did, I would have that support. So I have my dad's brother lives in Manchester, obviously, so it's really close, which is great. So I'm hoping to see him in the next few days. And then so my mum's parents, they live like London way. So obviously
Okay.
it's a bit further, but it's much closer than being in Sydney and then being there. So
Yeah.
yeah, it'll be really good to see them. I haven't seen them as often as we would have liked due to like the pandemic and everything. So yeah, that'll be really special to see them, and just to have them a bit closer is definitely nice and very comforting to know that they're there if I ever need anything.
Yeah, for sure. And obviously, there's a lot of other Aussies who play in our league as well. You've mentioned El McDonald already. We've had Gia Abanefi, who came over and played, retired relatively recently. Have any of the past or current Australian NSL players reached out to you at all to offer any words of advice or wisdom?
Well, I would say probably just Elle. Yeah,
Mm,
she's been really supportive and obviously like has only come over here within the last like 6 months or whatever. So she
mm,
obviously knows exactly how I'm feeling, and kind of, I mean, different situations, but making the move over from Australia, obviously slightly different culture and everything. But I know that, so Joe obviously was, I don't actually know whether she ever played in the Super League, but she was very supportive of my decision and just said like, if you ever need anything, that she's always there for me. But obviously she grew up in the UK, so she was very supportive of me making this move, and just knew that it would be very important for me to grow, not only as a player but as a person as well. So yeah, they're probably the main two who've been like supporting me throughout this.
Oh, well, that's nice to be able to have that like really supportive network behind you to kind of make the transition smoother. And if you do have any concerns, you know where you can turn. And obviously, coming, like we've spoken a little bit about Joe, spoken a bit about the Giants, coming from that setup, you've been coached by some pretty amazing people, including Sam Pullman, who was a specialist defensive coach assisting Ali Tucker Monroe, as well as the new Firebirds head coach, Beck Bully, who was previously the Giants Academy head coach before she became assistant coach at the Swifts. And not forgetting, of course, Julie Fitzgerald, head coach of the Giants. So, what are some of the key takeaways from these different coaching environments that you're hoping to bring to the Netball Super League with you?
Yeah, that's like I have been coached by incredible people. I'm very, very lucky, and I think they're all great, but every single one of them offers something so different to me. And
Mm,
I know that Julie has been like probably one of my biggest supporters throughout the last few years. She kind of plucked me out of nowhere. I was in the
mm,
pathway, but I wasn't probably as well known as a lot of the other players. So I'm very, very grateful for her. And she's very blunt and just tells it how it is, which I love. I love knowing like what she's thinking about me, whether I did play well or whether she thinks that I could have definitely improved on that game. But I think definitely I'll draw something from every coach, and they've all taught me little defensive things and things like that. Like Beck was very hard one-on-one player as well, so she fully kind of developed that part of my game, whereas Sammy Pullman was more of a goalkeeper who would get in players' heads and things like that. So she taught me things like
mm,
that. So I think it's very important to take all of the little things that you learn from coaches. And someone at Ali actually told me recently that not everything that you hear from a coach is going to make sense to you and it's going to fit in with your game. But the important part of being a good athlete is being able to recognize what you take from each coach and what works for you, and then kind of mold that into your own game. And I think that really resonated with me, and the fact that obviously at different trainings you'll do things and sometimes you're like, nah, can't do that. Like that just doesn't, it's complete opposite to what kind of I've always played. But being able to take little bits from every coach and make that into your own like kind of hybrid athlete. I guess that's kind of what I'm hoping to do, and bringing all those different skills and just offering something different over here, I guess, is what I'm hoping to do. But yeah, I guess we'll just see.
Yeah, I mean, that's fantastic. Like to be able to take all those little golden nuggets from literal legends of the game and then to be able to blend that into like make your own identity from that is, I think, is incredible. And obviously, you're now going to be coached by Liana Leota, who in her own right is a legend of the game as well. How much did having her as the head coach of Leeds Rhinos influence your decision to come over?
Yeah, actually quite a lot, to be honest with you. So when I was first contacted, I definitely recognized the name and just kind of like did a little Google search to just double check that's who I was thinking about, and it was. But also, so Julie knew Liana quite well because she used to coach over in New Zealand. So that was another factor in her being so supportive of this decision, was the fact that she knew, like as a person, obviously she's a great person, extremely supportive of everything, and then knowing how good of a player she was. And I think just how creative she was and how much potentially she could add to my game. I think that's what she kind of saw as the opportunity there. But yeah, Liana has been so supportive throughout this entire thing and has definitely made the decision a lot easier. So I'm very excited to kind of get to know her more and take as much as I can from her as a coach.
Yeah, and obviously she's the Rose's technical assistant coach as well, so it's not going to hurt your Rose's chances. Just sneak that one in there.
Exactly.
And you've had is it your first session now that you've had with Rhinos?
So I got here Monday, and then we played, what did we do? We did training Tuesday. I sort of just like watched and was just there, met the girls, which was really good. And then, yeah, Wednesday and Thursday, I did a little bit of court both days. Yesterday, which was Thursday night, I basically did the whole session. So that was really exciting, just kind of getting into it. There's quite a strict return to play from being on like a long haul flight, which I actually didn't realize, but makes sense. So I've just sort of slowly been working into the environment. And yeah, it's been going really well. I'm enjoying playing with the different defenders and I guess creating those new combinations, and just see where it goes. There's a lot of young girls as well, so that's really nice to have a lot of girls my age, I guess, that I can relate to a bit. So people like Millie Sanders and Shelley and stuff like that, they've also been super welcoming and supportive. I think the whole defensive unit have been really nice. So yeah, that's been great to get to know them all.
Oh, that's lovely. Well, finally, I don't know if you listen to the podcast, but one of our things that we do are 3-word summaries of the Super League. So in true Qtr Time podcast style, can you sum up how you're feeling about this new direction that your life has taken in 3 words?
Ooh, that's really hard. I feel like I should have listened to this podcast first to kind of think of 3 words. To prep myself a little bit. Okay, let's have a think. I'm going to say excited. Obviously, I'm very excited for this opportunity and just to see where it can go. I'm going to say challenges. I think not only is this going to be a really big challenge for myself as a player, just to kind of be in a completely different environment, make new connections. I think as a person as well, it's going to challenge me a lot. Being on the whole other side of the world to everything kind of that I've really ever known. And then I'm going to say growth. Kind of similar, but I think, yeah, I'm going to grow a lot as a person. I don't know if you need an explanation. Sorry, I was just kind of rambling, but I thought I would justify myself.
That's amazing.
Yeah, those are my
that.
3 words.
That's great. No, that is brilliant. Oh, Jemma, it's been so lovely to get to know you a little bit more. Thank you so much for coming onto the podcast, and we wish you all the best of luck for the NSL season ahead.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.